Hydrogen has always carried the promise of transforming heavy-duty transport, but that promise has been slowed by one quiet, stubborn problem hidden deep inside the fuel cell stack: durability. Trucks, buses, and industrial vehicles demand machinery that operates for years under constant stress without experiencing catastrophic degradation. Diesel engines, for all their environmental drawbacks, excel at exactly that. They can run hundreds of thousands of miles with predictable maintenance, and fleets know precisely how much reliability they can count on. Hydrogen fuel cells, especially proton exchange membrane fuel cells, have never enjoyed that level of confidence, largely because the catalyst materials at their core tend to degrade over time. As the catalyst loses activity, power output falls and the stack becomes less useful than when it was new. For hydrogen to win the trust of fleet operators, it must demonstrate that its fuel cells can approach the long service lifetimes of diesel engines. That's why a breakthrough from UCLA is generating so much excitement, because it suggests that hydrogen fuel cells may soon far exceed what was once thought possible. The research in question revolves around one critical part of the fuel cell: the platinum catalyst. In traditional PEM fuel cells, the catalyst layer contains tiny platinum particles resting on a carbon support inside an electrode. Those nanoparticles are incredibly effective at enabling the electrochemical reactions that convert hydrogen and oxygen into electrons and water. But the environment inside a fuel cell is harsh. Voltage changes, fluctuating loads, chemical stress, water management issues, and even subtle shifts in temperature all work to destabilize the catalyst. Over thousands of hours, the platinum can dissolve and redeposit unevenly, clump into larger particles, detach from its support, or be affected by carbon corrosion. Each of these degradation routes reduces the active surface area available to drive the reaction, slowly lowering the stack's ability to deliver power. Heavy-duty trucks experience some of the harshest operating cycles of all, which means traditional fuel cell catalysts typically cannot survive beyond a few tens of thousands of operating hours before performance losses become unacceptable. To push hydrogen into long-haul trucking, researchers and manufacturers have long sought ways to extend the lifespan of these catalysts. Many efforts have focused on modifying platinum by alloying it with other metals, hoping to increase its activity or reduce its precious metal content. But this approach often introduces new challenges. Alloying metals such as nickel or cobalt, while initially boosting performance, tend to dissolve or leach out during real-world operation, weakening the catalyst over time. Instead of preventing degradation, these alloys sometimes accelerate it. Recognizing these limitations, the UCLA team approached the problem from a different angle. Rather than altering platinum chemically, they chose to protect it structurally. That shift in thinking led to one of the most promising catalyst architectures developed to date. The breakthrough catalyst developed by the UCLA researchers uses a clever configuration described as platinum inside graphene nanopockets. Unlike conventional platinum nanoparticles that sit exposed on the surface of a carbon support, the new design encloses each platinum particle within an ultra-thin, flexible shell made from graphene. Graphene is an extraordinary material, only one atom thick, yet extremely strong and chemically resilient. By wrapping the platinum nanoparticles inside tiny pocket-like cages made of graphene, the researchers created a confined environment where the catalyst is shielded from the worst forces that normally erode it. These graphene pockets act like nanoscale armor, preventing platinum particles from migrating, merging, or detaching, while still allowing reactants and ions to reach the active sites. To maintain high conductivity and a robust support structure, the UCLA team embedded these graphene-pocketed platinum particles into kitchen black, a high-surface area carbon material widely used in advanced electrodes. The result is a hierarchical catalyst: platinum inside graphene inside porous carbon. This structure preserves the accessibility of the catalyst while preventing many of the degradation mechanisms that typically plague fuel cell operation. Early microscopic and structural analysis showed that the platinum remained dispersed and confined even after extended stress tests, which is unusual for catalysts subjected to aggressive cycling. The next step was to test this catalyst under conditions meant to mimic the most stressful real-world operating cycles, Using accelerated voltage cycling protocols, similar to those recommended by the U.S. Department of Energy for heavy-duty vehicle fuel cells, the researchers subjected the material to repeated stress pulses designed to reveal long-term weaknesses quickly. These are not gentle tests. They create voltage transitions far sharper and more numerous than what a typical truck would encounter on the road. Yet, even under these conditions, the graphene-protected catalyst showed remarkably little degradation. After 90,000 voltage cycles corresponding to many years of equivalent heavy-duty use, the fuel cell exhibited only a very small drop in power output. Most catalysts lose significant activity under such conditions, often reaching end-of-life degradation thresholds during testing, but UCLA's catalyst retained performance far beyond expectations. By correlating the stability observed in the stress test with known performance degradation models used by the DOE, the researchers projected that a full-scale fuel cell stack using this catalyst could operate for well over 200,000 hours before hitting end-of-life conditions. To appreciate what this means, consider how many hours a typical long-haul truck operates each year. Depending on the route, idling time, and duty cycle, a truck might accumulate around 3,000 to 4,000 operating hours annually. Even at the higher end of that range, a fuel cell stack lasting 200,000 hours would correspond to multiple decades of runtime. No vehicle is likely to remain in service that long, meaning the catalyst would outlive the truck itself. For fleet operators evaluating hydrogen, that changes everything. Instead of fearing early stack replacements or planning for mid-life overhauls, they could view fuel cell stacks as lifetime components, just like diesel engines. Such durability also matters from a financial perspective. Fleet managers often evaluate not just upfront costs, but the total cost of ownership over the vehicle's life. A fuel cell stack that remains within acceptable performance limits for hundreds of thousands of hours dramatically reduces long-term risk. Financing, leasing, and warranty structures become more predictable. Manufacturers can design systems with confidence that the catalyst won't be the limiting factor that cuts a vehicle's commercial life short. Insurance and service contracts benefit as well, because fewer uncertainty-driven contingencies need to be built into pricing. Long-term reliability enables entirely new business models around hydrogen heavy-duty vehicles. Beyond the direct benefits to trucking, a catalyst that maintains its performance this long opens doors to many other clean energy applications. In public transit, hydrogen buses could operate through entire service lifetimes without requiring stack replacement. In regional rail, where hydrogen fuel cells are emerging as an alternative to installing expensive overhead electric lines, extreme durability ensures that trains remain competitive with diesel in both performance and reliability. In the maritime sector, where ships require high uptime and long operating hours, stable fuel cells could power auxiliary systems or even propulsion without frequent overhaul cycles. And in stationary power, where reliability is crucial, a decades-long fuel cell lifespan could allow hydrogen systems to serve as long-duration energy generators in microgrids, data centers, and backup facilities. Even more interesting is how this breakthrough could shift engineering choices within fuel cell system design. When catalyst materials degrade easily, manufacturers must protect them through conservative operating strategies, which often means reducing performance to extend lifespan. Voltage ceilings, load management strategies, and gentle operating parameters are imposed to avoid triggering rapid degradation. But a catalyst with extreme durability offers more freedom. Fuel cells could run closer to peak power more often without accelerating wear, allowing smaller stacks to deliver the same power output. Smaller stacks reduce material costs, improve power density, and simplify packaging. Critical advantages for vehicle integration. Over time, this could lead to lighter, more compact, more affordable hydrogen trucks. Of course, it is important to recognize that the work remains at the research stage. The projected durability is derived from accelerated stress testing, not from decades of continuous real-world operation. While accelerated tests are widely accepted in fuel cell research, they cannot capture every real-world variable. Trucks operate in harsh environments involving vibration, dust, fuel impurities, freeze-thaw cycles, varying humidity, and unpredictable driver behavior. A catalyst that performs well under controlled laboratory conditions must still be validated in complete fuel cell stacks, integrated power systems, and eventually in commercial vehicles. Furthermore, manufacturing the graphene nanopockets at scalable volumes presents engineering challenges. Creating uniform, reproducible nanoscale structures at gigawatt-scale catalyst production is a major undertaking. Despite these challenges, the significance of the UCLA work remains clear. Fuel cells have long struggled with durability, and this research demonstrates that extending catalyst lifetimes by an order of magnitude is not only possible, but achievable with smart materials engineering. This doesn't fix hydrogen's other challenges, namely the need for affordable green hydrogen, widespread fueling infrastructure, and favorable policy environments. But it does eliminate one of the biggest technical concerns at the heart of the fuel cell stack. When stack lifetime is no longer a limiting factor, the focus can shift to scaling production, reducing system costs, and expanding hydrogen supply. For the broader clean transportation ecosystem, breakthroughs like this offer a signal that technology is moving steadily forward. Heavy-duty vehicle manufacturers can take this as evidence that hydrogen is not stuck in a state of perpetual R&D. Fleet operators who have been hesitant to trial hydrogen trucks due to concerns over reliability now have reason to reassess. Policymakers can adjust long-term planning assumptions with more confidence that hydrogen technologies will mature in time to meet emissions and decarbonization targets. And investors evaluating hydrogen corridors, refueling networks, or decentralized production projects can view the long-term demand outlook more favorably. If you follow hydrogen technology closely, this is the kind of milestone that deserves attention. It represents a shift from trying to catch up with diesel performance to potentially exceeding it in lifespan. The question that now follows is what comes next. How quickly can this catalyst architecture be scaled? How soon will it appear in prototype stacks? Which manufacturers will move first? And perhaps most importantly, how will this influence the commercial, financial, and strategic decisions surrounding hydrogen adoption in transport and stationary power? These are the unknowns, but for now, what we can say with confidence is that the future of hydrogen fuel cells just became a lot more promising.